And WMIXSports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And good morning. Glad to have you here on the Saturday Sports Show on a ice-cold Saturday morning here in the King City and all around the region. Of course, nor snow, nor sleet, nor ice are going to keep us from the powerhouse on Broadway here on a beautiful Saturday morning, though. If you just take a step back and glance outside and look out the window and see the sun shining off of the snow, it's like something out of a Robert Frost poem, of course. We're glad to be here with you this morning. Of course, we're here until 10 o'clock. Danny Zerwinski is here. I'm Chris Hugo. Jeff Crow with us as well. All powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Loaded lineup coming your way today. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head basketball coach Scott Gamber. We were hoping to talk about a game last night versus the Althoff Crusaders. Of course, that one was postponed due to the weather. Of course, they'll be replayed, or I should say played, made up, on Friday, January the 3rd, 2014. We'll also talk with Lady Rams head basketball coach Jeff Lonan. We'll talk about their team's week this coming week. We will also talk with Todd Tripp. He is the athletic director at Goreville, but also the boys basketball coach. We'll talk a little bit about the Black Cats and where they hope to go in 2013-2014. We'll talk about the head coach, who is the leader of the Christopher Turkey Tournament champion, Christopher Bearcats. We'll have Eric Stallman on the program later in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll also talk with Woodlawn Cardinals head coach Shane Witzel, Lee Bennett of the Centralia Orphans, and, of course, Mount Vernon Rams wrestling coach Sean Doherty, all to come here today on the Saturday Sports Show. Plus, talk about the weather. Our WMIX Sports social media question of the week is out there on Facebook and Twitter, so give that a look and give us an answer. Of course, we want to know how you made the best of a snow day or how you make the best of a snow day when there's really nothing else to do. Believe it or not, there were some games in the area last night, but not too many. You had to go to the Metro East to find basketball action. Of course, Alton got a big SWC win over East St. Louis last night, 59-57. Alton Marquette surprised Nokomis 42-33. It was Beecher City over Cowden Herrick 60-44. Chatham Glenwood over Rochester Big 53-19. Effingham and an Apollo win over Charleston, 65-29. It was Lincoln over Taylorville, 59-23. Mattoon over Mount Zion, 80-71. O'Fallon beat Planet Granite, 57-55. It was Springfield Lanphier over Sacred Heart Griffin, 62-44. Springfield Southeast over Springfield High, 67-51. St. Elmo beat Neoga, 45-40. And T-Town, last-second three to beat Breeze Central last night, 45-44. And those were some games that were actually played. Otherwise, seems like DC, everything down here, and wisely so, was pretty well canceled last night.
I don't think you'll see a lot today either. I
Shouldn't.
think some people have some very ambitious hopes as to trying to get games in today, and you will talk about this more later, but I think the fact comes in that it's not about the fans. You know, it's not about making money, although some people are trying to save money and get money. But you got to remember, you got high school kids that'll be getting back, A, riding a bus, and everybody knows riding a bus on this kind of roads is not going to happen, and B, going to drive their cars home late at night or in these conditions. I don't see how anybody's going to play today but SIU. I mean, when junior colleges are canceling, you got to take a step back and go, okay, is it really that important to get out tonight when it's going to be 7 degrees, the roads are going to refreeze, and things of that nature? I'm going to be shocked. I know Goreville's got a decision at 10 o'clock. I know Trico's going to try to go late afternoon. You know, DuQuoin's going to try to go. I don't understand, as a school person, putting safety of so many people on the line just for a couple of high school basketball games.
Well, and first of all, of course, we're obviously not ripping on anybody who decides to play today. They shouldn't, but we're not ripping on anybody. But I do give a lot of credit to Clint Weinmiller and, of course, the athletic director at Cairo for saying, "Hey, we're not coming to DuQuoin today." They put the safety of their kids first. They're not going to play in the DuQuoin Tip-Off Classic. Only Vandalia, DuQuoin, and Flora will be playing games down there today, of course, unless they decide to change that schedule. So you give them a lot of credit, as well as anybody else that canceled games today. I know the Benton Rangerettes lost a game today. I know, you think about all the action. I think Centralia will probably still have a game with O'Fallon. Of course, you're going to the Metro East, which is to the west.
O'Fallon canceled last night, though.
I thought they played Granite City.
I don't thought they did. I thought I read they canceled it. Why did I read they canceled it somewhere? Can't imagine Twitter telling a lie.
That's the score that was sent in to us.
I don't understand. I don't. Here's the thing, though. If Zerwinski High School is hosting a tournament, and I've got 4 or 5 high schools, and Hugo High School and Crow High School say, well, we're coming. All right. Well, the third high school in the tournament says, no, we're not. I don't know how you can have a tournament. I mean, I don't know how you can just move on without it and just play a game just to play a game. Plus, you got to remember, not only you have fans, which is not the number one concern, you got the kids, you got referees that may or may not want to drive out in this. So good luck trying to find officials that's not in your hometown that's at the tournament trying to find people to play here. So interstate-wise, coming across today, 148 is highly snow-packed. Mount Vernon Road, city streets are highly snow-packed. At 7:30 this morning, I-57 south on the new exit in Mount Vernon was basically one lane clear. The other lane was still packed. So, it's one of those where, the interstates are great, but when you get back tonight from O'Fallon, DuQuoin, Goreville, Trico, and you're getting kids back at 8:39, 9:30, 10, then they got to drive home after 10 o'clock, and it'll take them extra time. That's a tough thing to ask right there.
Well, it is, and obviously it was good to see schools err on the side of caution. Yesterday, of course, most of the things in our immediate area, of course, were postponed and or canceled. Of course, they're hoping to make up last night's lost games at the Oakville post-Thanksgiving tournament on Monday. Already hearing kind of the cancellation winds start to blow for some games on Monday in other places in the area, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see, especially with another system that's supposed to blow in at some point, maybe overnight tonight or into tomorrow night. So, we're not out of the woods yet. It's possible that we still may go without local basketball.
I'm telling you right now, there's no way a bus can get down country roads in Jefferson County. And I'm not so certain a bus couldn't go on some highways right now until they're clear. Of course, highways and interstates will be first to go. And in Mount Vernon or cities, the roads will be taken care of. Streets, I guess is the term. But, it's not going to shock me if there's more precipitation tomorrow night. I'm not sure how much, if any, we're going to get. But, schools are going to have a tough time getting into session next couple of days.
Oh, they are.
Monday, Tuesday.
You're going to have to take a closer look at things, obviously, as the new system approaches and comes through, if it's going to do anything. Varying numbers, of course, on various models. But it could make for an interesting next couple of weeks, actually, as we get to looking at not only games and whether or not they're going to be played on the original schedule, but as makeup games. And
snow doesn't melt at 5 degrees.
No.
Ice doesn't melt when it's packed. Snow and ice, sleet do not melt when it's packed. I don't care what you put on it. You're going to have limited sun today for about 2 or 3 hours of beating down and trying to melt. Then it's going to refreeze later, so not sure.
I don't envy anybody with IDOT. I don't envy any local road commissioners. I don't envy school administrators right now. I don't envy any of that, as difficult decisions are going to have to be made, of course, by administrators, not only today with some of the basketball tournaments that are still going on as of right now, with some of the games still going on as of right now, but a lot of decisions in a lot of communities were made on Thursday night. Like, I saw a cancellation for one of today's games happen Thursday night, and if the wiser you are,
you have to go caution, because now it's not snow and that coming down, it's driving back. And a lot of kids don't have cars that go very well in this.
Exactly, and we'll touch more on that, of course, later in the program. We'll talk about some other sports as well, but we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head basketball coach Scott Gamber about the team's progress this far. A quick recap, of course, from the Pyramid Plus. Also about the disappointment of not having a game last night for Mount Vernon Rams basketball, as did many other teams in the area. This is a Saturday Sports Show. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
More Americans are on the move today than ever before. One of the most popular modes of transportation is the motorcycle. Motorcycles take us to our jobs, school, to the beach, and all around the country. If you're a bike rider, your Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, wants to make sure you have the best insurance protection while you're riding. Ask about the money-saving auto cycle discount and the experienced driver discount, too. Call Page Insurance at 242-7000 today about motorcycle insurance from Pekin Insurance.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
The Sonic is a car that has done well for us, and we're moving out the remaining 2013 Sonic. I know people that have come in looking for pre-owned cars and have driven off with a new Chevy Sonic because they're so affordable that they can get into a brand new car with a brand new warranty for basically the same payment. So the Sonic is really a good deal for people.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
There you go. Of course, we're glad to have you with us this morning. We're here until 10 o'clock. You can follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Find us on Facebook. We welcome to the program now. He is the head coach of Mount Vernon Rams basketball, Scott Gamber. Scott, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
You know, pretty good. Probably feels a little unusual. I know it does to us. I'm sure it does to you as well, to be talking here with you on a Saturday morning and not having had a game on a Friday night.
Definitely. Last night felt really strange, having a Friday night with no game.
And, of course, that one with Altoff for last night should be made up, I believe you said, on Friday, January 3rd?
Yes.
Of course, you know, you do all that work throughout the week. You come off of a Pyramid Plus where you're the champions at 5-0. Your first home game is against another tournament champion in the Altoff Crusaders, a team that is young but good, a team that many expect great things out of. How big of a disappointment is it to prepare all week for a game of that magnitude and then come Friday morning and see a foot of snow and not be able to play it?
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. I mean, I think it was something we were definitely wanting to get in, and I know Bevel Altoff was wanting to get it in. And you just hate, especially early in the year, to lose a game, and like you said, especially when you've prepared all week and you feel like it's ready. We were lucky. We practiced Thursday morning, expecting the snow to maybe come in that afternoon. So we got to practice Thursday morning, and when we were talked after school Thursday, we you kind of got a pretty good idea that with it starting as early as it did, that we may be off from yesterday. And now we just kind of have to bounce back. I'm glad we play Tuesday. I'd really hate it if we had, if we didn't play again until next Friday. That would have been a long, long time off in between games. So at least we get a chance to play Tuesday. It's not too big of a break, and we could definitely use the practice time.
From the coach perspective, of course, the school perspective as well, on Thursday everybody in the county gets out early. From that point, talk our fans and listeners through that process of, as a coach, as a team, dealing with the school rules of, going home. Did you practice? Did you not? What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today as far as when and if you can get back in the gym?
Yeah, well, Wednesday, during the day, whenever the projections were coming in, Coach Creel and I talked, and we both kind of thought if our school ends up letting out early on Thursday because of the weather and because of safety, if we practice, that would A, look really bad, and B, if something happened, that would be pretty tough to justify. So we made the decision Wednesday afternoon to schedule practice for Thursday morning, and that way, if the weather didn't come in, we could still maybe go for another hour after school, or if in the case that what happened, where school lets out early, practices are all suspended, at least we, got a practice in. And then yesterday, as bad as it was, again, we talked, and we just decided there's no chance of coming into practice and no reason to push it with what we had. And we talked again. I mean, we're going to go today. We're going to go at 11 today. Sent out the text last night that, hey, we're going at 11, but if you can't, make it into practice, don't try to make it if you're not comfortable doing it. And And then we're going to go again tomorrow afternoon and Monday, and hopefully get ready to play Tuesday.
What about Muscuda, do you know at this point? They haven't played, obviously, in a little while because of snow. What do you know about the Indians?
Yeah, I was able to go watch them play Tuesday night. They played at Salem, so I got to see them once live. I got to see them another time on film, and we played them last year. They do a lot of the same things offensively and defensively as they did last year. Their personnel's changed a little bit. The Marshall Moore's graduated. The Jalen Nelson kid moved. The 6'5" kid graduated. They're size-wise, they're about like us. They have a really good senior point guard who's a 3-year starter, and they've got a big kid that against Salem stepped out and hit 4 threes in Z Dupree. But it's a game on the road. They struggled in the Centralia tournament record-wise, but outside of the Centralia game, they played everybody competitively. Centralia got them pretty good on the opening night, and we struggled on the road last year. It's a road game. We've had a little break. I think it's really important for us to go over there Tuesday and play well, and especially going in, having a Friday night where we're going to Cahokia. It'd be really nice to be coming off a win rather than another.
You mentioned going to Muscuda. You go to Cahokia Friday. You have a week off. You have one home game, and then you go back on the road the 21st to Waterloo. One home game before Christmas. What does that do to not only coaching staff but the players mentally, knowing you only have one game at Chagnon the whole first half of the year?
Yeah, that's quite unusual. It's we sure wish it was the other way. We really like being at home, and we've had a lot of success at home. But it kind of is what it is, and hopefully it'll just make us stronger. Early in the season, being on the road so much, and if we can perform well early on the road, I think it really makes the second half something to look forward to. It's just important that we're able to take care of some business on the road here while we're there, and we're at Muscuda Tuesday, and then at Cahokia Friday, and then next week Marion at home and at Waterloo, and then it's Christmas break. So the way everything fell this year, there's not a whole lot of games before Christmas anyway, and with losing one here tonight, or last night, it makes it even shorter, and I think it just kind of puts the importance of those games, it kind of amps it up a little bit.
Of course, knowing the struggles last year on the road, and does it help to know that even though it was technically a neutral court, the Heron game at the Pyramid, still a road game type atmosphere? Does it help knowing that you already got that monkey off your back? You already have technically a road win. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. It does. It does help. And, every year is a different group, and this group didn't do that. But the fact that it happened last year, it definitely does. It is nice to have gotten the one against Heron at Heron. But it's still a little bit of a different animal when you're talking about a regular season road game. I think our kids are going to be ready to play. I think they're going to be excited to get another game in with this little break. And as it turns out, we'll actually get an extra day to prepare for Muscuda with not playing last night. And we'll come in today and we'll mostly work on our stuff, but we'll mix in a little Muscuda stuff, and then we'll really hit the Muscuda stuff hard on Sunday and Monday, and then it'll be a quick turnaround again. We'll play Tuesday, and then try to get as much in on Cahokia and Wednesday and Thursday, and go over there Friday.
Are these the toughest practices to have, the ones where you can't guarantee because of the weather 100% attendance? You're also dealing with the never know what you're going to get mindset of teenage kids. Are these really the practices where coaches earn their money?
Yes. I have no idea what to expect as far as attendance. I think most of our kids, we have a lot of kids that live in town. I think those kids will be able to, obviously make it. It's the guys like Jake Pike and Blake Jones, the guys that live out in the county that you have no idea what their road situation looks like. And that's what you just said. The big thing is the disappointment of not having a game Friday, being off school Friday, being off, obviously off school today. Just hope that they come in focused and ready to go. And and I hope they understand how big and important of a game Tuesday is. And we've got to have a good practice today. With not practicing yesterday, we've got to have a really good effort today and get that focus back. And I think the next 2 days' practices are really, really important.
Final question, of course, is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and this week's question is, how do you make the best of a snow day? What do you do with a snow day like we had yesterday?
Yesterday's was a tough one because just really upset about not getting the game in and everything. Watched a little bit of the Mascoutah film and pretty much just took it easy. I mean, I couldn't even get out of my driveway yesterday, so there was nothing to do. It wasn't anything on TV. It was pretty brutal. I have no good answers. Yesterday, I was absolutely miserable yesterday.
No decorating a Christmas tree or putting it up the correct way or learning how to do that?
We had done that already.
Yeah.
It was a very boring day.
You know what it really was, but hopefully some excitement on Tuesday night when the Rams hopefully get to travel to Mascoutah to take on the Indians. Scott, best of luck to the Rams. We'll see you Tuesday night, hopefully.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, hope we can get that in. Hopefully the weather they're talking about Sunday will stay away.
Amen to that. That's Scott Gamber, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, and you just hope that you get the games in early next week, and road conditions hopefully somehow maybe they'll heat up from the travel, but you don't want to encourage travel on the roads if it's not necessary with things like these. IDOT, of course, working hard. Local road commissioners are working hard as well. So, I mean, it's a tough position to be in.
Let's look at the Rams' schedule real quick. You go at Mascoutah Tuesday, at Kokia Friday.
Yep.
And you got a week to get ready for Marion, at home, who knows going to be out for you, and go at Waterloo.
Yep.
And then you play. Oh yeah, there. That's a tough stretch with one home game before Christmas. Very tough.
Yeah. Mom Nature didn't do you any favors. If only you could bottle.
Mom Nature did. The schedule maker didn't do anything.
Well, that too.
Either.
But if only you could bottle the heat that's going to be omnipresent inside Kokia's gym on December the 13th and somehow let it escape, you wouldn't have any issues with the snow melting in a hurry. But unfortunately, that isn't possible. Let's see. We have Jeff Lana to come here on the Saturday Sports Show, head coach of Lady Rams basketball. Their game against St. Anthony was snowed out on Thursday. We'll talk about the week ahead for Jeff Lana's Lady Rams. They're at Centralia on Tuesday night. We'll talk about that big rivalry game here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Harvest time is approaching and hunters are in their stands. What does this mean for you? Deer are running more frequently now. I hope we don't have to meet in the near future because of these creatures, but in the unfortunate chance you do find Mother Nature dancing onto your hood, you can be confident that Landers will be here to tend to you and your ride. And, as our specialty and main focus is collision repair alone, no one is more qualified to restore your vehicle back to its previous condition or better, and in the process, helping to retain its resale value. Every day we continue to set the standards for quality collision repair. Give us a chance to show you what we can do for you. Collision repair is what we know. We should be good at it. Again, this is Chase with Landers Collision Centers, where we offer only the best in collision repair. Come meet the staff, take a tour of our facilities, and get to know the crew at Landers Collision Centers. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. Just give us a call, 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Complete. That's the Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois with a full sports medicine clinic, state-of-the-art MRI, a spine care team that focuses on pain management, arthroscopy specialists offering total joint replacement, hand surgery, and complete rehabilitation services. Doctors Chow, Hool, Ahn, Kowalski, Freehill, and Smith stand ready to serve you today with offices in Mount Vernon and Centralia and satellite offices in Benton and Nashville. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show. It's a beautiful Saturday morning for all intents and purposes. Travel can still be treacherous in parts, so please exercise the use of caution. Always the best advice. If you don't have to travel, don't. That's the easiest way to say it. Of course, Jeff Lonan, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams, joins us now. Lonan, good morning.
What parts are not hazardous to travel on this morning?
Most of them are pretty treacherous. Once you get out of this county, though, going west, it's okay. Going east, it's still pretty well snowpacked. South, snowpacked. North is fine.
Yeah.
But you just got to get out of Jefferson County.
It's snowpacked in Benton pretty good.
Foot of snow will do that to you.
Driveway.
Yeah. How is it out there where you live? Can you get around, or is it almost impossible?
Well, I have four-wheel drive, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. I mean, there's literally 4 feet of snow at both ends of my driveway, and that's because the plow came through and basically took about 2 feet of snow and doubled it whenever it, plowed the snow. So I had to shovel the end of my driveways just, because a little bit was literally up to my grill on my bumper trying to get out. But it's not good out there. And the thing is it's 5 degrees, and that's the thing about it. You go in a ditch today and it's 5 degrees, you better have a full tank of gas and have a cell phone and get somebody there to help you because, it's just so bitterly cold. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely a cold day. It's going to take a while for this stuff to get off the ground, and that 4 feet of snow in your driveway is going to take a while for that to melt. But all in all, I know a lot of disappointment in not getting the game in on Thursday against St. Anthony. I understand that one's already rescheduled for, did you tell me, January 7th? Is that right?
Coach Creel, I believe, yeah, he came to me and they had agreed to a January 7th reschedule for St. Anthony, and that's good. I was glad. I was all for not going on Thursday because of the weather, but I also didn't want to lose the game totally, so they agreed on that date, and that's a good time for us because there's a big bubble after New Year's there where we won't do anything as far as playing any games, so, that fit in well.
Going back to Monday night, of course, a quick turnaround. You had the Nashville tournament where you played 3 games in 2 days, took Sunday off, and came back with a nice win on Monday night against Cahokia. Talk about that win.
Good win. Played well for 2.5 quarters, and they're a little sloppy for the other quarter and a half. But it's a conference win, and but there's always a little more meaning for those. Whenever you play those, at least for us. And really good first half, 38 points. I think we held them to 10 or 12, and we were probably severely outsized, and as much physically outsized as we'll be all year, and we didn't let that intimidate us because when you watch them in the pregame warm-up, it could be pretty easy to get intimidated looking down there at some of the size they have, but we just took care of business and did the job we had to do, and I was very, very happy with that. And we had some kids step up in that game that haven't struggled a little bit at Nashville, and that was also good to see.
Of course, as you take a look at that game, I know typically we have talked about it multiple times throughout the years with regard to Cahokia, about how their zone, just for some reason, will cause you fits. But they switched out of zone into man pretty early on, and once that happened, it really looked like the Lady Rams were able to take advantage. They got a couple of their taller girls into foul trouble, and it really just allowed for everybody to have a good night. Claire Ryan did a great job handling the basketball. Hannah did a great job underneath. Courtney Scarborough made a bunch of key shots. It just seemed like a definite team win against Cahokia.
Yeah, and they all have to be team wins for us. We want to get everybody involved, and as anybody does. You're just better whenever you spread your scoring around and you get kids in off the bench, and you make it a bigger operation. It's just better whenever you can win like that, and it bodes better for you. I think your overall chances, game in and game out, if you do it and spread it out, in terms of the wealth, in terms of the scoring and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to go inside as much as we can. We're built inside out right now. We want to go inside, and we want Hannah to have big nights and all that, but we also have to have our guards going, and we also have to have a couple kids off the bench come in and have us feel good about them being there, because all that's going to play in down the stretch. Perimeter play, bench play, as well as our good inside play. So you got to get all that going at one time, and when you do, then you become much more difficult to defeat.
Of course, you have Centralia and Marion in back-to-back conference games. Centralia on the road Tuesday at the arena, weather permitting, and then, of course, Thursday the Marion Lady Wildcats come to Shagnon. A quick turnaround with 2 conference games in the same week, and, of course, just one day separating the two. We know the Annies are always going to be tough and always a formidable opponent for Mount Vernon, but the Marion Lady Wildcats, of course, struggling to open the year. Is this a good week for Lady Rams basketball, or is this going to be a tougher week than anticipated for Lady Rams basketball?
Well, anytime you open your week with Centralia, it's going to be it's stressful and it's going to be difficult, and you're playing there. That's a difficult place to play, and they haven't gotten off to a real great start. I know that, but that really doesn't mean anything when Centralia plays Mount Vernon in anything. You can just throw all that out. We'll be fortunate enough to go up there and win. We'll be very fortunate if we can do that, because they're a different team at home, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. You play Centralia, you're Mount Vernon, and especially if you're on the road, it's going to be interesting. So. And then, Marion is struggling on Thursday. That's absolutely true. But again, this is a conference game, and we cannot afford to take them lightly or look past them. That's how you get beat, and that's how you really mess things up for yourself, is when you allow yourself to get in that mindset. So I'd like to say at the end of the week, hopefully we can come away with a couple victories, but we just got to take them one at a time, and especially Centralia at Centralia. I can't remember the last time we've won there. I don't know. I just don't remember. It's been a long, long time. So, we got to go up there and just play our butts off and see what happens.
Look, final question for you. We know you're busy shoveling snow and whatnot. Our question to you is, how do you make the best of a snow day? What does Jeff Lonan do to pass his time?
Well, I'll tell you what I do, especially this time of year, is I catch up on my stats. I take all the DVDs home from the games that I haven't watched, and I stat all my games. That's exactly what I do. So, I guess that's not real exciting and probably not a very entertaining answer, but I stat all my own games. I don't like, I know a lot of coaches have, maybe people do it at the games. They got these fancy iPad programs and apps and things of that nature, but I do everything by hand off the film. So you can fall behind pretty easy if you don't keep up with that, because that method takes about an hour per game. So, I think we were on 5 games now, and I was about 5 hours behind on stats. So that's exactly what I've been doing, is basketball stats.
Well, there you have it. Not necessarily the most fun way to spend a snow day, but it's effective and certainly helps your street cred as well, Lon. And, of course, busy week for you next week. Good luck against the Annies. That game, of course, will be on our Centralia sister station, so we will see you on Thursday night.
Chris, thanks for calling.
Always a pleasure, my man. That's Jeff Lonan, head coach of the Lady Rams, of course, and I think they're practicing today, and, of course, they have that big Tuesday night game at the CHS Arena. Of course, Ryan Rowdy will have the call of that one on our sister station X95, as well as CentraliaRadio.com. Lady Rams are back on WMIX FM on Thursday night against the Marion Wildcats from Shagnon Gymnasium. Watch it online at WMIXsports.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Goreville Blackcats head basketball coach Todd Tripp here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
Hi, Roy Schmidt, Chrysler dealer at King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. The 2013 Chrysler 200 sedan could be the perfect recipe of beauty and luxury with an added pinch of safety. The 200 Touring has beauty outside with powerful LED accented headlamps as well as precise chiseled profile. Inside, it's nothing but luxury with leather, heated seats, navigation, and Uconnect technology. With 0% financing or a total of $3,500 in incentives on the 2013 Chrysler 200, we are guaranteed to find a payment perfect for you. Chrysler is so confident in this IIHS top safety pick that they're offering a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty that is unmatched by Honda, Toyota, and Nissan. You must come see our associates at King City Chrysler, 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, or shop us online at kingcitychrysler.com.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Of course, when I stuck that in there, I certainly did not expect for that to have been a cover version. I thought it was the original MJ version. But either way, it's good music nonetheless here on the Saturday Sports Show. Welcome to the program. He is the head coach of the Goreville Black Cats. Also the athletic director. He's Todd Tripp. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? First question, obviously, is you guys having your own tournament in Goreville. It's been a difficult week with weather. How big of a nuisance has this weather been in trying to communicate with everybody as far as the various weather-related updates?
I'll tell you what, if you told us this a couple of years ago when we first had thoughts of hosting this, we may have said no way. This has been a big headache, and you want to keep everybody safe, number one priority. But if we decide we can go today, then we have to try to find out who can get their kids out. If there's a team that can't come, then we'll have to cancel. But a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts. I tried to use that Twitter, but I really can't do that very well yet. So
that's all right. We can help you out. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk about the Goreville Black Cats. How has your team been doing this year so far for our listeners up here in Mount Vernon?
Well, we've only played one game. We played Anna Jonesboro first game of the tournament. We beat them in double overtime. We did not have one of our best players. He's back, Kiefer Cavins. But so far so good. We're 1-0, and Zeke Snell, who we expect big things out of this year. He's our only returning starter. Had 29 and 14, and he's a kid to watch out there. So a lot of new kids, a lot of kids gaining experience quick, and we'll just go from there.
We've heard about the Goreville tournament. AJ's coach has, I'm trying to tongue-in-cheek here, being funny. He has told us lots up at the state tournament about the Goreville tournament. I'm glad he finally got a win. We had to hear a lot about that last year. Back to your team, you have guys back that seem like they've been playing for a long time. Zeke Snell, Kiefer Cavins, guys like that you can rely on after going 26-5 last year, losing in the sectional to Meridian. That's got to feel good to have those guys coming back this year.
Yeah, Snell's the MVP of our conference from last year, and Cavins was our sixth man. Could have started. He did start quite a bit, but as far as duos go, they're one of the better duos around, I believe, in my opinion. So it's two guys to start your team with, and that's a good way to start. And we've got kids that are capable of filling holes, and once they gain experience, they're just going to get better. So the main thing is we do play hard, and I always try to tell them when you play hard, good things happen. So we'll see.
And we'll see. Black Diamond West this year, who's the favorite to win that? Are you the favorite, or who are you looking at as being competition for you?
A lot of them picked us to be the favorite. We think everybody's competition to us. Christopher, I know they took a big blow losing their best player, and I still think they're going to compete. They got a lot of kids that have that experience, and they're coming off the championship of their own tournament. When you do stuff like that, you just gain confidence, and Trico is always going to be in the mix. So, Ziegler, they have everybody back. So, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some people beat people on their home floor that maybe they shouldn't. So, it'll be interesting here in conference.
Interesting year, and of course your schedule today, you said about trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, all the texts, all the calls. What are we looking at today? What do you think the overall chances Goreville gets games in today?
We're going to try to go at 1 o'clock. You know, it's a possibility we won't go at 1 and may go later. I'm going to meet with my bosses, and we're going to talk about it and see. And like we said, we just want to be safe first. And, you know, if it don't happen today, we may go into next week and go Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So we're going to try like crazy to get this in by next Saturday. And I know people don't want to lose games. I certainly don't want to lose games, but we want to be safe first.
Hey, look at your schedule, and in January you had the McCracken County Festival of Hoops. You're also in the West Frankfort Midwinter Tournament now. Big-time step-ups for your team and your program, play better teams. Who do you play at that shootout in Kentucky in January?
We are going to play the host school in McCracken County, but you know, we've added Massac County this year. We've got Massac and Cartersville back-to-back on the 14th and 17th of December. So our schedule did get a little tougher this year. I'm going to have to blame the AD for that one, but we'll just see what we can do. You know, you can't get better. You can't beat the good teams if you don't play them.
I thought when you said blame DD, I thought the baseball coach was going to get blamed for something out of this right out of the gate.
Oh, shoot, he's on his way to like Jamaica or somewhere right now, so he's getting ready to board a plane. So he's forgot about everything in Goreville today.
So he's not helping at all shoveling snow or anything like that. He just left you high and dry.
No, he's gone. He's left the country.
Wow. Hey, we know you're going to be busy. We know your phone's going to be ringing, and we appreciate the time you joined us. We got one final question for you. What, as our social media question of the week, how do you make the best of a snow day?
Hey, I did that yesterday. We got the four-wheeler out. Me and my little girl went out. We did some sledding, pulled her on the sled, and came in. And she made some cookies. I ate them, so we did a good job.
There you go. Can't beat that for that day of fun.
That's a great way to spend a snow day. Amazing. Of course, Coach, I know you're busy today, and I know you have a lot of decisions to make. Won't keep you too long here on the Saturday Sports Show, but we appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us and always being gracious anytime we come to Goreville. We appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks.
That's Todd Tripp. He is the athletic director at Goreville High School, also the head coach of Black Cat basketball, and just all-around great guy. Of course, we need to take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. When we come back, we'll talk with Eric Stallman. Coach Stallman, of course, is the head coach at Christopher, champions of the Christopher Turkey Tournament. We'll talk with him about that as well as the rest of the season coming up next after the break.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. Partly to mostly sunny and very cold today, high 22. Mostly cloudy and frigid tonight with a bit of snow late, low 12, but temperatures will be rising in the lower 20s. We'll see a bit of light snow or freezing drizzle tomorrow, mainly early, otherwise cloudy, breezy, and cold, high 29. And Monday, mostly cloudy and chilly, high 30. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Your future is calling. With a GED test and some help from Rend Lake College, you can answer the call. The current test expires at the end of 2013, and your scores will expire too if you don't finish and pass the test by then. Don't feel prepared? Don't worry, we can help. Visit finishtheged.com to learn more. Don't miss the chance to turn one small step into your next big opportunity, like college, a better job, and the respect you deserve. Finish your GED by the end of 2013. Questions? Call Rend Lake College's Adult Education and Literacy Department today at 437-5321.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
Welcome back, Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski alongside. Jeff Crow is with us as well. All courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest, Eric Stallman, is the head coach of the Christopher Bearcats. They were champions of the Christopher Turkey Tournament last week. Their game last night versus the Waltonville Spartans at the Suzuki Shootout was postponed. Coach Stallman, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
You know, pretty good. I have to imagine you're doing wonderfully after winning your own tournament. Of course, that has to be a huge, not that there's a lot of pressure to win your own tournament, I don't mean it like that, but has to be a nice little sigh of relief or breath of relief to win your own tournament and have that momentum to start the year?
Yeah, it was great. Getting to start 3-0 was really, really nice. We hadn't actually even played in the championship game in about 11 years, so it was nice to win it also. So that was a really, really nice start to the season.
Looking at your team so far, of course, you have senior Jacob Towers. He joins his dad as fellow MVPs of the Turkey Tournament. And then, of course, Hunter Wheeler's a sophomore getting some names. But talk about them and talk about the other kids that have gotten you off this 3-0 start so far.
Well, yeah, Hunter and Jacob have done a great job for us as guards, and we've got some other kids that have filled in and done a really, really good job. We, as you guys know, we had one of our kids get injured earlier during football, and we've had who was a pretty good player for us, and we've had a lot of younger kids step in and do a great job for us.
Your Christopher Tournament, of course, you got some big wins. Talk about your 3 games. Of course, that title game against rival ZR, that had to feel good to beat the rivals down to the south for that championship in that game.
It did. It was nice. That is definitely a rivalry game for us. Our kids all view it as such, and I know that they do also. And it was really good. I think that there's a little added incentive. Not really that you'd need one being a championship game, but I think there's definitely some added incentive with that being a rival.
Moving on from there, of course, now you're going to go over a week without playing a game. You'll have Alvarado and Wayne City at home next week before you hit the road to Hamilton County and Cobden and then host Cesar. That's a pretty tough little gambit for the Bearcats to go through as far as conference and non-conference goes before Christmas.
Yeah, I really wanted to play this week. Taking a week off isn't ideal, but it'll be all right, I think. I really wish that we could have played the Saluki shootout, but I think they're working on trying to find a date to reschedule that. But yeah, we've got Elkville to start off with some conference play, and then Wayne City, and then going to Hamilton County. That'll be tough too.
One of the things I noticed, of course, there's 6 gazillion tournaments in the state of Illinois. You're one of the few high schools that only plays in 2. What's the thought and theory behind playing just in 2 tournaments instead of 3 during the year?
Well, I know a lot of people, some teams do that and some people don't. I really like the 2 just for the simple fact that it lets us keep some JV games and keep some home games. Being able to host your own tournament's great early because then you get the home games there. And then being able to have the other games where you're still getting JV games and possibly some home.
Non-conference, looking at it, you have Johnson City, a crossover battle, Goreville, El Dorado. Nice to see your team playing those schools from the east side. A lot of times in a conference like that, like the River, you don't see a lot of teams cross over and play each other. It's nice to see.
Oh, yeah, I really, really like it. Those were teams that whenever I was back in high school, and I know a lot of the people that graduated in years past, we always played those teams. I like to keep that going. That's really nice to be able to see those teams that are still, some people still view them as, conference teams because of the way the football is.
Of course, as we take a look at BDC, obviously, coming out of your own Turkey Tournament, that's a nice momentum to start the season, as we said, of course, heading into future games. But in your division of the BDC, outside of Christopher, we expect and hope that is near the top, who else do you see contending for a crown in your division?
For sure, Goreville. Goreville's been very good since they've joined the conference. They've played really, really well, and Coach Tripp does a great job with them. They've got probably the best player in the conference back with Zeke Snail. He's a great post player. And Cavins is back, and I guess they've got some good news on him that he doesn't have a broken hand, so they're going to be pretty tough to beat.
I can't believe you have gone this long without peppering me with something about the game last night.
I did not watch any basketball last night, honestly. I went to bed really early and woke up this morning and duck hunted. I'm still out in a duck blind right now.
Is there anything flying this morning? Or
There was a few birds flying early. We're about done right now. We're packing up and getting out.
I was waiting for if that's the case, I was waiting for a gunshot to go off. Hey, hang on just a second, I'll shoot one now. Yeah, that would have been a first. I've actually been a part of an interview where somebody was in a deer stand and had to take a moment to kind of wait because they didn't know there's one deer came by. But it was a very disappointing game for me last night. It still lingers with me after even today.
Well, you guys just got your second loss then, so you're even with my Blue Devils.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, like I do, some freshmen can't get off the AA circuit mind-wise at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they play a little different.
Hey, before
you should be used to that. You'll get a new group next year.
Well, right, we always get a new group, that's for sure. Final question before we let you get out of the duck blind and everything else is our social media question of the week. This week's question is, you kind of told us almost, how do you make the best of a snow day? What does Eric Stallman do to keep himself busy?
What do I do on a snow day? Well, we usually come into practice at 10:30 by default on any snow day, but since the roads were so bad, we went ahead and called it off for the whole weekend here. So usually end up hunting.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it is. Nice way to spend a snow day, something you can relax with before going back into the intensity.
But it is a little cold out here today, though. I will say that. So I don't know how relaxing it is.
Coach, best of luck to the Bearcats the rest of the way. Hopefully we can talk to you again soon here on the Saturday Sports Show.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
That's Eric Stallman, of course, head coach of the Christopher Bearcats, the alum, taking over the position, and just one of the good guys in the business.
Oh, real good guy. And, I'm looking at Christopher's schedule, and this is no knock.
I like their schedule. In terms
here it is.
In terms for their competition and winning games.
You play Ziegler, okay, in your tournament, 1 out of 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
You miss Waltonville unless you play them again.
Okay.
You have Wayne City as your only non-conference Black Diamond team you play the entire year. Then you look and you go, once they get to, and Cobden, I forgot about Cobden on the 17th. Once you get to the holiday tournament at Cesar, the rest of the way, they do not get out of the Black Diamond Conference West or
I see
East.
where you're going with
I
this.
see that. And this goes back to Black Diamond football. You play the same conference teams. I know basketball is different, but they don't play once they get out of the holiday tournament at Cesar Valera, they don't play a non-conference Black Diamond school the rest of the way.
And, yeah, I see which I was going from the direction of winnability. A very favorable schedule at times for the Bearcats, I think, depending on the momentum and depending, of course, strength of schedule. I mean, obviously, Goreville's going to be tops in that division until somebody knocks them off, I have to think. But when you take a look at the Bearcats, what they can put together, I think, they had a chance to win a regional last year. Can they get back to that point this year? Obviously, it's going to depend on pairings. But, yeah, if you're talking about just their schedule and teams that they're seeing, there's going to be some teams that they see and run the risk of seeing way too many times.
Well, that's what I said. I mean,
no, I know. Yeah,
I like Hamilton County. I like, you're playing Hamilton County, Johnson City, El Dorado. Don't get me wrong. But when the only people you see as Black Diamond schools after December 20th, of course, you may get 1 to 4 non-conference schools at the holiday tournament, though it's very tough because there are so many Black Diamond schools there. That's different schedule. That is a different schedule for sure.
Sure, and you talk about the fact that there's only 2 tournaments on the schedule, and not feeling the pressure to play in a third. But you take a look at midwinter, where would they go anyway? There's really not a good midwinter tournament for them, in my opinion, unless one were developed.
Well, I don't know. Just don't hold your breath because there'll be one soon, surely somewhere.
Unless there's just one I am not thinking of where they would be.
Unless you get a tournament of 8 teams that turns into 6, but
well, there's that.
Yeah. Well, they could go. I won't say names. I'll just point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's a long drive. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I learned. Don't ask, don't tell about that one.
You don't ask, don't tell on a lot of things in these days. People get upset.
That they do. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. We need to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk for a little bit, give you our answers to the WMIX Sports social media question, and then we'll come back with Shane Witzel after that here on the Saturday Sports Show. Hard to believe, an hour in the books. We'll take a break. Powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
There's a good reason why Second Chance Auto has been in business for 33 years. They believe in doing business the right way, with honest deals. It's the only way they know. And thanks to Second Chance Auto, you don't have to head out of town to get financing. They offer bank rate financing to everyone. Yes, everyone. You'll find a great selection of quality vehicles with 3-month or 3,000-mile warranties. Come see why they've been successful for 33 years at Second Chance Auto. Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582.
If you can't pick us up where you live, move. This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers broadcasting station.
When you hear the warm, inviting sound of a crackling fire, what comes to mind? A rustic campground? A cozy cabin? How about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center? Our new family lounges feature a lot of comforts you might not expect. Things like this. No, that's not a babbling brook or serene stream out in the countryside. It's a 2-story waterfall located right here at Good Samaritan. And that's not the only way we're raising the bar for patient comfort. We've added lush healing gardens, as well as wall after wall of beautiful artwork, all designed to create the perfect healing atmosphere. And if all this sounds like music to your ears, we encourage you to check us out. Chances are, we're not too far from where you are right now.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
Welcome back, Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Okay, hoping everything's okay in studio. Not sure. Okay, there we go. WMIX Sports social media question this week is, how do you make the best of a snow day? What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? Maybe you can't get out today. Maybe you can't get out tomorrow. But maybe someday you'll be able to get out. But as of right now, what are you doing to make the best of it? DC, what'd you do?
Wrapped gifts, cleaned house, straightened out drawers, purged items that I don't need, and watched a lot of TV. Cleaned the DVR out. Got some curling in. Hadn't watched curling because curling had been saved on DVR. So today is college football.
I slept inadvertently. Like, I ended up taking like 3 different 1-hour naps, not intending to, but that's just kind of the way my day went. I ended up catching up on a football life. I'd missed. There's one about Gleason I still haven't seen yet, but then what's the one I watched yesterday? The Cowboys offensive line. Watched that. That was about it. Caught up on some DVR.
Well, it was rough day yesterday.
Cleared some snow from the driveway just to get one vehicle out, and came in soaked from all the sweat because I bundled it up too much.
Can't do that. Survivor Man says you can't do that outside.
Yeah. Well, everybody's always like, Hugo, you need to bundle up more. You wear a coat occasionally. And so I took everybody's advice. I had the scarf. I had 2 sock caps. I had multiple layers. I had a heavy coat. I had jeans over the top of athletic pants. I had rubber boots. And by the time, I was soaked when I got inside. I thought I was dying because I'm fat and out of shape.
The roadways today, kind of like the epitome of what you watch on Ice Road Truckers on History Channel.
Sure.
Just to be able to see what those guys and gals do with a semi-truck up there on driving on ice. And this is nothing. I know, but it amazes me. I'm sitting there driving in the day from southern Jefferson County, and I'm like, this is interesting. This is how those semi-guys, the gals, do it on our Ice Road Truckers. Of course, we got another listener in a deer stand, so we got duck blinds and deer stands covered this morning.
Yeah, we do. I feel awful for the people who have to keep America running. Our various Freightliners and the semi truck drivers that have to go up and down, and there was talk yesterday of various truck stops not only running out of fuel but running out of space as they try to get off of the road, and it was just disastrous yesterday. And so there's a lot of people that don't get credit for keeping our nation going, and you feel for everybody that has to be outside in this type of time. You feel for our road departments, not just as far as city maintenance, but the county, IDOT, and if you're traveling out of state, Kentucky's version of IDOT. I don't know if it's KY dot or I think NDOT and then MoDOT. It's probably Y dot in Wisconsin. I don't know what Iowa dot is. I know it's NDOT. I'm pretty sure.
I know Kentucky's Department of Transportation is the most gelled together group I've ever seen. But
I wondered about that.
Yeah, you have that, and it's just so ice packed, sleet packed. This stuff's not going anywhere. There's not room. Like, I drove in this morning from southern Jefferson County. The back roads are 1-laners at best, at most, at widest. You're not got any room to go. There's no way buses are going to be able to get back there. Now, when it got to the highway part, very packed, very thick with snow. You can drive. They've done a great job clearing them off. It's just a matter of melting. And then, of course, the interstate was basically almost 1 lane cleared. It should be cleared by noon today once the sun beats on it. But there's not much to go anywhere.
Well, I know KY dot reporting that it's easy to. It was slippery down there yesterday, and as people go to the Marshall County Hoop Fest this weekend. They need to exercise caution.
There's not much to go to down there because
might glide off the road if you're not careful. You got to be careful when you're traveling. Be careful
today.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Of course, I'll get this out now. If you're the IHSA, you can let Cliff Alexander play, even though he gets ejected. He's not supposed to play in the big Chicago shootout today. So, let's all let Cliff Alexander play, Mr. Hat Switcher. So
there you go.
Done with that.
Shane Witzel coming up after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Too expensive to get back into shape? Not anymore. Rend Lake College's new fitness center is only $53 per semester. They've also thought of everything with universal machines, free weights, treadmills with dedicated TV screens, ellipticals, and more. Qualified dance instructors are also available. Or go at your own pace with DVDs that can be used in the exercise room. Best of all, it's open 7 days a week. Check out the Rend Lake College Fitness Center in the Marketplace off Potomac Boulevard in Mount Vernon. Or log on to rendlakecollege.edu/Fit Center.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
The 2014 Impala, I can't say enough about this car. It is such a beautiful car, and the people that drive them are just so happy with the performance, the luxury, the ride and drive. They are so quiet. They compare them to more of the luxury import cars, and the style of the new Impala is second to none, and it's really a beautiful car.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest really needs no introduction, but we will anyway. He is the head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, Shane Witzel. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. Obviously, a lot of expectations year in and year out for your team with all the postseason success as of recent years. But you start off at the Oakville post-Thanksgiving tournament this week, get a couple of early wins. You lose last night's game to the weather. You go back on Monday, weather permitting. How big of a nuisance is it to kind of try to get a regimen going, get kind of a schedule accustomed to, and then have Mother Nature come in and kind of wipe last night out with one of the biggest games in the tournament going on last night?
Well, it's just part of it. You just, you don't necessarily expect it, but you just try to do the best you can, and both teams are in the same situation. The main priority is to keep kids safe and keep parents safe and keep people off the roads as much as you can. So we didn't do a lot on Thursday, so we didn't have a whole lot of prep time as far as getting ready for Oakville. But we are going to try to do something this morning and go over a little better our game plan. So in a way, it's going to give us a better chance to practice and get ready for Monday, provided the weather actually cooperates. So, but you just do the best you can, and like I said, you just it is what it is, and everybody's in the same boat, so I don't think it's a huge advantage or disadvantage one way or the other.
Looking at your team, I said something Monday night on the air in the pregame that this may be the first time in a few years that when Woodlawn took the floor against New Athens Monday night, that Woodlawn wasn't the more experienced team. Even though you return Hateman and Robinson and Phelps, a relatively young team you throw out there, a lot of kids that don't have that experience of playing for you in recent years are on your team this year.
Well, I think it's part of it, but, also those guys got to play a lot. And, of course, Ross Owens got a lot of playing time last year in meaningful minutes. So we had 4 guys back that we were pretty comfortable with as far as their experience concerned. And with our other senior, Logan Wallerman, he just keeps getting better and better since his freshman year. And I don't really necessarily look at him as overly inexperienced because he's been around for a while, and he knows how the game's supposed to be played. So we're pretty confident with those. It's just our bench guys are very inexperienced, and we got 5, 6 guys or so to where we're trying to figure out what their roles are going to be for those guys on the bench. So it's early yet. We just need to play some games and kind of get going some.
two big wins this week against the Co-Kid Conference. You get New Athens on Monday, Marissa Coulterville on Wednesday. Oakville game allegedly scheduled for Monday. Talk about those two games, two wins that you got there in the first part of the week.
Well, with New Athens, they have a very good post player in Meyer, and we've seen a lot of him the last several years. So that was a concern to some degree, but you're really just trying to get ready for the season more than anything. So we didn't prep specifically too much for them, along with kind of how we were going to guard the post. And, you have to scheme for that because he is a good post player, and just having guys in different places as far as our rotations were going to be, that was a concern. So got a lot of guys, a lot of minutes. These last two games, I got to see a little bit of everybody, so that's an encouraging thing kind of moving forward. But we're a work in progress to some degree. I do like their starters and where we're at with them. It's just trying to get our bench guys up to speed with where we need them to be.
Looking at the rest of the way after Monday night, if that game gets played, you're at Weber on Wednesday, you're at Mater Dei on Friday, home against Odin on Tuesday, and at Waltonville on the last Friday before Christmas. It's a pretty tough stretch of games for a young team to be on the road that many games to start the year.
Well, you have to challenge yourselves, and we play some good quality teams, and being on the road is an issue. I think it's a bigger issue in college than it is in high school. There's not much in the way of travel and that kind of thing, although it's somewhat unfamiliar circumstances being someone else's gym. But, you need to put yourself in situations where you have to really execute and play well in order to give yourself a chance to win. And we're going to play a lot of games like that this year to where the margin of error will be fairly small. And we need that for us to be more consistent. And I think that's the one thing this team's going to struggle with is consistency. If we can be consistent, we could beat some good teams. If we're not consistent, then we could get knocked off by a team or two that shouldn't beat us.
Of course, you guys have always been successful in the Midland Trail Conference. Outside of the Cardinals, who prohibitive favorites year in and year out, whom do you see also making a step up this year in the Midland Trail and being a good team?
Well, North Clay, I think, is going to be pretty good. There's a lot of parity amongst those next several teams, including ourselves. I mean, we're going to have to play well in order to win the thing and go on the road and play some key games. Odin's got a lot of kids play back. I got to see them play this past week. Waltonville, even though most of the teams will kind of think they're down, I've seen them play, and they do things correctly, and they're not going to be an easy team to beat, particularly playing at Waltonville for us. Wayne City, your Coach Gerlach always does a good job with his kids, and there's some teams out there, that will challenge, and anytime like you talked about playing on the road, it's always more difficult to beat teams at their own place, and we usually say you have to be 5 or 10 points better when you play on the road, and that comes down to execution, and that's where that's going to help us. So that's all to be shaked out. This playing one game thing, that can be a factor to some degree, whether you play home or away, but we're looking forward to the challenge of getting into our conference season, but also we got some very good non-conference games this year as well.
Okay, we're going to let you go, but because you got practice this morning, and I'm sure you've already driven or are driving or something along that snow. So our final question for you is our social media question of the week, and it is, how do you make the best of a snow day? What did Shane Witzel do during his snow day yesterday?
Oh, well, that's one of the benefits of being a teacher. Snow days you're off, but the first part of that was just trying to make sure I communicated with what was going on with our team, and we didn't practice yesterday. Just felt like it wasn't good to get the kids out. So probably the best thing is spend it with your own kids. We did the sled thing and got the gator out, pulled them around, and they did a lot of that playing outside, and then of course spending the evening and around the fire and that kind of deal. My youngest and I and wife, we went and got a Christmas tree, and so it was a pretty eventful day yesterday. So Reagan's my oldest birthday. Her birthday is today, so I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. I know she's still sleeping. She had a lot of friends over last night, but it was a good day, and it was a fun time for all of us that were there.
So who got less sleep, Reagan or you, last night with the big party at the house?
I was in bed probably fairly early, so I'd have to say they were all still asleep. I don't know how many of them were there, 6, 7, 8 of them. They were all asleep, scattered in amongst the different places, so I know I'm the one that got the most sleep.
Outstanding. Coach, first of all, thank you for remembering that kids are the most precious commodity, and keeping them safe is of the utmost importance. Thank you for that. And also, good luck to the Cardinals, of course, over the coming weeks, and with that college algebra game plan.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. We're going to need some help. That's one's affected. The weather has affected that more than anything.
Yeah, right, just like a math teacher. I hear you. Just like a math teacher.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks. That's Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, all-around great guy. And I know I've said that about everybody we talked to. He's pretty well amazing, but Shane Witzel's one heck of a dude.
Speaking of this, we've had a Twitter request. We have to...
happy birthday, Chris Harlow.
Yeah, happy birthday, Chris Harlow.
There you go.
Yeah, he's begging. He got up early for a test that never happened. They canceled it, so...
That's a bummer. I saw that.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Darn the luck, SEMO. Why would you do that to Chris Harlow?
Right.
State champion, ladies and gentlemen, but also a devoted Twitter follower and a good kid who... hopefully will at some point be an inaugural member of a program that I'm still wanting to get off of the ground, but more on that later. This is the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. We're going to try for Lee Bennett of the Centralia Orphans after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show. Powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. Partly to mostly sunny and very cold today, high 22. Mostly cloudy and frigid tonight with a bit of snow late, low 12, but temperatures will be rising in the lower 20s. We'll see a bit of light snow or freezing drizzle tomorrow, mainly early, otherwise cloudy, breezy, and cold, high 29. And Monday, mostly cloudy and chilly, high 30. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Is your insurance deductible met? Do you have sleep apnea? Call the Medicine Shop Pharmacy to order a new mask or supplies for your CPAP or BiPAP before your deductible starts over next year. Our respiratory therapists will take the time to make sure your mask and supplies are a good fit for your needs. The Medicine Shop is also your #1 source for nebulizers and associated supplies. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
We have 3 respiratory therapists full-time. That allows us, with our respiratory care, a great deal of flexibility to take care of everything from ventilator needs for infants down to simple nebulizer needs for a sick child, and everything in between, oxygen, CPAP, BiPAP therapy. Our respiratory therapists are wonderful, skilled at that.
We look forward to hearing from you. Give us a call. The Medicine Shop is a locally owned business run by local people. Happy holidays from the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
It's back. The award-winning WMIX Sports Basketball Showcase has the very best in high school basketball this winter, and Community First Bank is along for the ride. Hi, this is Terry Prosize, a Vice President from Community First Bank of the Heartland. WMIX and WMIXSports.com will have the best games involving the Woodlawn Cardinals, Weber Trojans, Waltonville Spartans, Cecil-Valier Red Devils, and the Wayne City Indians. Tune in to WMIX and WMIX Sports for the showcase, presented by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski. Jeff Crow is with us as well. Powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest, famed head coach of the Centralia Orphans. He is Lee Bennett. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
You know what? Fantastic. I know you would be better had you gotten a game in last night versus Cahokia at the arena, but you've already had a few games from the arena, of course, winners of the Centralia Thanksgiving Classic, and off to another good start of the Orphans. I think you have to be pretty proud of that 4-0 start.
Well, certainly, you know, one of your goals is to win the games, and it's always nice when you can do that, and I feel like we beat some pretty good teams there, some teams that are going to win a lot of games. So, yeah, I mean, you know, but obviously playing games in November, you certainly hope you're better than that in, you know, a month or two down the road, and that's kind of the main goal from my perspective. Let's just try to get better, and if we get good enough, and you know, we'll win games. If we don't get good enough, we won't win a lot of games. So it's just, I think the ultimate goal always has to be trying to get better.
Looking at your team, talk about some of the team members and guys you're going to rely on this year to help have a good season at Centralia.
Well, you know, some of these guys, I think Jake Wood in particular feels like he just won't go away. You know, and that's kind of how maybe we feel about some of those kids from Cahokia that have been playing for year after year after year after year, and I know there's some young guys in our league now that it's going to feel like that in a couple of years. But I think, you know, Jake's a guy that opposing coaches and fans feel like, good grief, he has to be graduated by now. And but you know, he's just been playing varsity for 4 years. He didn't play much as a freshman, but been playing for 4 years. So and then you know, guys like Chase Alcorn, Gerard Simmons Young have been playing. This is their third year of varsity, and DeAndre Cunningham is a returning starter that's out right now on injury, but we hope to get him back. Ryan Obermeyer is a junior returning starter, and then we have guys that that played a lot last year that are also back, that are only sophomores, in De'Aaron Owens and Tyreek Bilberry. So you know, those are some of the guys that people are familiar with that have been playing, you know, a lot the last year or two, or, you know, in Jake's case, 3.
Looking at your game, you had a game last night, home against Cahokia canceled. What's the prognosis of tonight's game at O'Fallon?
Well, I think we should be good to go. The interstate's fine. The town roads are not so good, and you know, when the temperature stays in single digits, it's really hard for Mother Nature to do much to help the guys that are out there trying to help the roads. You know, once that ice is just set in, it's not a whole lot you can do other than, you know, hope Mother Nature will do her job. Maybe if we get a little bit of warmer air and some sunshine, that'll make it better and let some of that salt take effect. So I you know, as of right now, we're planning on playing ball, and I'm sure our young men are ready to go out there and play after you know, practicing all week and trying to get ready. Obviously, what we did was trying to prepare for Cahokia. That didn't happen. You know, you just move forth to the next one.
Who in the world is responsible for scheduling Cahokia at home on a Friday and at O'Fallon on a Saturday?
Well, I tell you, you know, I tell you, Chris, they're not. You know, if you look at our schedule, there's not a whole lot of room to say, okay, we're going to have a tough game here, so let's have an easy one here. The tough and easies, they don't even up. So we're going to have a lot of weekends. In fact, most of our games are going to be very tough for us. Just about all of them, I would say. So that's just the way it goes. I mean, that's part of being in the South 7 in 2013-14 season. You know, there's not going to be, you know, any nights where you have an easy game, and there's certainly, you know, a lot of our non-conference games are very challenging. And you know, Fallon's a very talented team, and it'll be a really good challenge for us, obviously. But you know, we've been able to do it before, and we'll sure give it a shot again.
Of course, you guys add Heron and Sacred Heart Griffin to the schedule this year, and always a tough schedule for Orphans basketball. But what was kind of the thought process behind acquiring Sacred Heart Griffin and Heron?
Well, Heron's a team that you know, we reached out to a couple years ago. They were 3A and we were 3A, and we're looking to, you know, change things up a little bit. Madison's not on the schedule any longer, and so, you know, that was a game we added. And then with Sacred Heart Griffin, we needed one more game, and they needed a game for just 1 year, and so it worked out, and we were able to put it on that game on that date, that January 4th date, where there was a weekend there where there was no conference game, and if you didn't get a game on that weekend, then you were going to be looking at sitting from the 28th of December till the 10th of January, which is, you know, a fairly long time to sit with no game in the middle of the season. You know, it's not a you know, a huge deal, but it's probably not ideal. So it just kind of, it worked out, and so they're just going to come here for 1 year, and they're this is supposed to be a really, really good year, basketball year for them. They're just getting everybody back from football, so, you know, their record and their ability right now is not indicative of what they're going to be come January.
In all your years in coaching the South 7, is this maybe one of the most balanced years, top to bottom, you've seen as far as all the teams are concerned?
Well, I don't know if it's the most balanced, because I think we'll wait and see how balanced it is in a few months. But I think there's and I'm saying this without seeing everybody. We'll see and we'll decide for sure in a few months, because I don't, everything's played out on paper, but everything's played out in real world, not on paper. But on paper, I would say it's the most quality teams and most teams with the higher number of quality players than what there's been in the past. I mean, we've obviously had some really good teams, and South Seven's brought home some hardware, 2 of the last 3 years. So there's been good teams and good players, but this may be, whoever gets, somebody's going to get last in the South Seven Conference, and they're not going to be a bad team. They're going to have had a bad conference year, but they're not going to be a bad team. I don't know who it's going to be. I hope it's not the Orphans, but there's going to be somebody, and it's going to be somebody that's not bad. So that's, I think that in that regard, there's the South Seven Conference always does really well 3A wise. I mean, if you look at the past regionals and who's knocked out South Seven teams, it's been generally South Seven teams and somebody that made it to state. That's kind of where it's been, and so and I think our league is maybe up a little bit from even where it's been. So that's and I think if you look at how things have gone the first week of games, it kind of demonstrates that. So, but we'll see. We'll know a lot more in February.
Of course, want to know a lot more with our WMIX Sports social media question. Final question for you, Coach, and that is, how do you make the best of a snow day? What did Lee Bennett do yesterday?
Well, you quickly in the morning probably send out anywhere from 300 to 400 text messages and then some phone calls, and let your guys know what's going on, let officials know what's going on, make decisions on Saturday ball games, and let those officials and game workers know what's going on, try to get in touch with those players and contact ADs where your wrestling team's supposed to go or your bowling team's supposed to go, and try to get some decisions made on that. And then the whole time you're doing all that, you're trying to transform your notes and your mental approach from one team to another, and so you can try to, in a very short time, help prepare your young men to give them the best chance they can in the next game that they'll be playing that you haven't been preparing for, when that game's diced. So yesterday morning or afternoon was actually real busy when you're AD basketball coach in the winter and you get a snow day, you don't get a day off. I mean, you're working regardless. I just assume be in school because we're going to be working, and that's one less day in late May that you may not be able to go out and swing the sticks. But that's the way it goes. I mean, you can't control Mother Nature. And then had a chance to get to watch a movie last night. Good stuff. Vince Vaughn's still funny, it turns out.
Nice. Coach, obviously a busy day for you, assuming that you're heading to O'Fallon, and we wish the best of luck to the Orphans. And I suppose we will see you, I guess, not until January at some point, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, that's the way it goes. But, boy, sure look forward to seeing you. Sounds good. That's Lee Bennett, head coach of the Centralia Orphans. They are 4-0, looking for 5-0 tonight. That game will be on our sister station, X95, weather permitting, obviously. Assume it's going to happen, as we just heard. CentraliaRadio.com or WRXXRadio.com. You can pick up streaming for that one. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Sean Doherty. He is the head coach of Rams Wrestling. We'll talk about that after a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Wilt. I want to thank Mount Vernon and the surrounding area for continuing to support us over the past 5 years. If you have never sat down with someone to go over your insurance program, let me invite you into our office. Let us show you what working with the industry leader, represented by a local agent, can do for you. I'm located just off 42nd Street. You can reach our office 24 hours a day at 242-1421 or on the web at TonyWilt.com. Thanks again, and go Rams.
Farming is critical to the continued growth of Southern Illinois, and I couldn't be more thankful for the service of the agriculture industry. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square, Mount Vernon. We want to salute Farm Bureau members with a special incentive on remaining new 2013 Ford F-150s. If you are a Farm Bureau member, trade in a 1995 or newer Ford Ranger, you can purchase a new 2013 Ford F-150 two-wheel drive for only $18,000 plus tax, title, and destination. All you have to do is finance through Ford Motor Credit. Wow! We can't thank farmers enough for their dedication, but we can offer everyone in the Farm Bureau a great, honest deal on America's #1 truck. Come see one of our sales associates to get the best deal on the heavyweight truck champion at Ford Square, Mount Vernon, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or shop us online at fordsquare.com and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The sound of bouncing basketballs is heating up high school gymnasiums. Hi, this is Bria Ashby with Community First Bank of the Heartland. Hear all of the twine-tickling action on WMIX and watch at WMIXsports.com this winter. Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams basketball is in full swing. Find our broadcast schedule and live audio and video streaming at WMIXsports.com or listen to WMIX on game night. It's Rams and Lady Rams basketball powered by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
That's Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Hugo. Jeff Crow is with us as well, as we welcome the head coach from Mount Vernon Rams Wrestling, Sean Doherty. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
You know, we're doing pretty good. Get to talk to you. It's always a pleasant voice coming on the opposite end of the telephone line whenever you join us here on the Saturday Sports Show. But I know somewhat disappointed today. No tournament up in Chatham for Rams Wrestling today.
Yeah, we're very disappointed. We were really looking forward to getting up there. We were going to, we changed our tournament this time of the year. Usually we go to the Falto, and we wanted to see some different competition, get to see some Central Illinois teams, and it just wasn't in the cards for us this weekend. Mother Nature kind of dumped on all of us, I guess, a little bit and shut a lot of things down, and just didn't really want to, take the chance of getting somebody hurt, trying to get up to the school, and definitely not on the bus trying to get up there. So, I know the kids are disappointed. I'm disappointed, but we'll take this little break and come back ready to work Monday and ready to face West Frankfort on Thursday.
How does the break here, as far as the snow days, no school, and not being able to get together a team, affect a wrestling team as far as that goes?
Well, I'll tell you what. It affects the kids in different ways. The kids that have had a lot of experience, it's not going to affect them as badly. It's not like, they're going to learn something new, today or anything like that. But the kids that are new kids, first-year kids, second-year kids, this break really kind of hurts them because, there's a lot of instruction we could go with them and get them a lot of the stuff that they do fine-tuned that we're not going to get the opportunity to. Which just means that, the kids probably don't want to hear this, but on Monday, we're going to work them pretty hard and try to make up for some of this lost time.
Looking at lost time, you have West Frankfort next week. Talk about your schedule the rest of the way as far as heading into the Christmas holidays.
We got West Frankfort at home. It'll be our first home meet. They're always tough. I mean, they're a real solid 1A school. It's one of the reasons why we keep them on the schedule. And then after that, Saturday, we're going to go up to Springfield. I think there for a while we were going to wear tracks out in the road from Mount Vernon to Springfield for a while. We're going to Springfield Southeast for a 8-team quad. We wrestle 3 other teams up there. We go in different pools. But that'll be a real good test for us to see where we're at varsity-wise. The JV, they'll get a chance to kind of get their feet wet again and wrestle. I believe they got a tournament at AJ, Anna Jonesboro, that weekend also. Then we that following week, that is the one that is the one I always circle on the schedule as kind of a bellwether to see where we're at as a team. We've got Murfreesboro on that following Tuesday. Then we have Heron at home. That's always, if anything, that's entertaining. People really need to come out for that because you get to see 2 of the, I'll boast about my team a little bit. I still think we're one of the better teams in the South. Heron is year in, year out, one of the best teams in the South. It'll be a good dual meet. And then the very next day, we're going over to the Mascoutah Invitational Tournament. And that's a 2-day one. We've got, I think they've upped the teams to 22 22 teams now, 21, 22 teams, and it's just, I mean, it's a grind. It is just, we've had kids come out of there having, out of 2 days, having wrestled 7 matches. So that's, again, it's a really good test to see where we're at.
Of course, you've added some new coaches to the staff this year, at least one particular assistant. I know Scott Tickner was pretty excited about him come football season whenever I talked to him before a practice one day, but a new assistant coach, I understand.
Yeah, we've got Boyd Ballard. He's fit really well with our coaching staff. And, that's, a lot of people have said, yeah, you've got, that's pretty awesome. You got a new coach. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's great to be able to, at a public school like this, in the South, to be able to bring somebody that's got his experience and his success that he's had in other programs and just with his wrestling itself, to be able to come in and help out. That's been great. And one thing I've always told everybody else is like, it was just an addition. It was one of those things where I've always thought we've had one of the best coaching staffs in the South. I've got Bruce Harris, a longtime assistant coach, been doing it. We always joke about, which one of us is older and everything else, but he's been at it for over 20 years. You've got Brian Chelf, who's done the Lions Club. He was a former wrestler at Mount Vernon. We've got Lance Vosberg's helping out this year. We've also got Blake Fields, a former wrestler of mine. That's one of the things that I love is that we get all these guys back that have formerly wrestled at Mount Vernon High School, and they believe so much in our program and believe in what we're doing, and just want to help and have the kids have success. That, to me, that's just awesome.
Final question of the morning and is our social media question of the week, and this week's question is,
oh Lord,
how do you make the best of a snow day? What does Sean Doherty do on a snow day?
I work. Isn't that terrible? Yeah, I've got paperwork. I've got to put stats into the computer. I've got try to figure out who's going to be wrestling and what we need to be doing the next week. Really, there's no downtime. And then, of course, the honey-do list always comes into play. Thankfully, my wife doesn't really make one, and she doesn't ask a lot out of me. But you can tell whenever they really like you to do something, you just go ahead and do it so you can stay out of trouble.
Always easier said than done when it comes to staying out of trouble, Doc. But
that is true.
We wish the Rams the best of luck from a wrestling standpoint. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure. That's Sean Doherty, head coach of Rams Wrestling, and, of course, always does a great job of supporting his kids and talking well about his assistant coaches, and he does have a very loaded lineup of assistant coaches, of course, with Bruce Harris, Blake Fields he'd mentioned, of course, long-time assistants. Let's see. Probably need to take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. I know I've got one left, so we'll go ahead and burn that up real quick. Take care of that. Come back with some more talk and conjecture here on the Saturday Sports Show. We appear courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One Account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank, welcome back to personal banking. Member FDIC.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Imagine this. You're driving down the road. It's dark as can be outside. Thank goodness you just had that left headlight bulb replaced. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see a thing. Now, close your eyes. Okay, don't close your eyes. You're supposed to be driving. Imagine noticing a slight twinkle off to the left, just above the ditch. What is that, you think to yourself? All of a sudden, whap! You've just encountered your first deer hit. The left side of your vehicle is beat up pretty bad. The next thing I want you to imagine is very simple. Picking up your phone and dialing 1-888-LANDERS to set up your repair. Deer claims are common, and usually a very simple process, which fall under comprehensive coverage. This is Chase Landers asking you to allow Landers to be your collision repair shop of choice. Whether it be a deer hit, fender bender, or the regular, uh-oh, sorry mom, Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back. Saturday Sports Show, live on WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Goreville tournament for today, of course, off. So they'll take today off, and Goreville probably a wise thing. And we had Todd Tripp on earlier to talk about that, and they said they'd make a call around 10 o'clock. The call has been made, and no Goreville tournament today, which is a good thing. I mean, you have to look out for the safety of the kids, number one, and then everybody else's safety afterwards that we talked about earlier. And so that's probably a smart decision.
Well, I think that won't be the last one. I think once people get out and understand just the way the roads are, I mean, sitting here for an hour and a half now looking out at Broadway and Mount Vernon, there are not many cars out yet today, considering traffic we see on a normal basis on Saturday morning. I think Goreville obviously is done. I think, those at Trico and DuQuoin probably need to think about it. Again, it's not getting the people to the game and the fans and whatever. It's the bus and the kids and the coaches that when they get back from the game that have to drive home late tonight. That is the problem.
That's the forgotten segment when making the decision more often than not is, hey, okay, if it normally takes us an hour to get to a game, on a bus we can probably add another hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so you think about, say, maybe you have like an 8 o'clock or 8:30 game. You're looking at 10 or later before that's done. And again, you figure if it took however long for you to get there, it might take longer for you to get home. So if it's 10 o'clock and you say maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, it's midnight 30 by the time you get back to school. You then have to send the kids out on the road afterwards to get home. And, depending on how long it takes to get across town or where they live, it could be 1 o'clock, 1:30 before they even get home. Do you really want to do you really want to put people through that? I think it's a decision that you have to go by.
Looks like the information we're receiving, the Goreville tournament will finish now on Monday, Wednesday, and next Saturday. So they're going to schedule around conference games, regular games, and whatever. That's the early word. But, that's the first one that goes. I know Frankfort and Pinckneyville is still on. DuQuoin's still trying to have their tournament, even though Hamilton County's not coming, and Caro. So, it's hard to have a tournament. Nobody's coming. That's what I say.
I know.
Or force somebody to come over and put we were going to have a game, but school A didn't want to come. No, you can't do things like that.
Well, I understand the mindset of the show must go on, but the show doesn't have to go on. And you see what some of these tournaments are doing. There's one tournament in particular that will go nameless. It's just separating. They have 3 teams involved now and separating each game by 2.5 hours. So you figure you maybe an hour and a half for the game. You give an hour off because there's one school that's going to be playing back-to-back. Actually, 2 schools in the long run will be playing back-to-back. Yeah. But, I mean, it seems like to me when 40% of your field pulls out due to the weather,
shut her down.
Maybe it should be 99% shut down.
Right.
Or 100% shut down.
And I'll say this, too, from the school standpoint. You're talking about administrators, athletic directors, coaches, and the most important are the bus drivers because they're the ones that got to drive that block on wheels that has no traction to and from these places, maneuvering buses, parking them, driving them around, doing those things. The bus drivers are the ones that need to get the first asked question, because they're the ones that's going to be out first, and then maybe the players and cheerleaders. But I'm just one of those that it wouldn't shock me to see more games go by the wayside today. It wouldn't shock me to see games Monday, maybe even a Tuesday go down the wayside. And I don't know what schools are going to do come Monday, Tuesday, because this is not going anywhere. It doesn't break freezing again until next Thursday or Friday, the way the weather looks.
Well, and I talked with one local coach last night who indicated that they were already concerned about their game Monday.
Right.
And so, if that's the type of mindset we're dealing with in some of these towns, maybe you should err on the side of caution. And the thing that often goes unnoticed is, sure, schools that are hosting tournaments have to think about the revenue coming in because they may pay schools to come. But you also have to think about the risks that you're taking and maybe talk to your risk management people about what is the risk versus reward here. What do we lose from a gate, but what would we have to pay out max cap if there was a fatality due to somebody coming to this tournament, or if something happened on our grounds, personal injury, things like that, or worst case scenario, workers' comp claim. Say, you had a member of maintenance out there trying to get the sidewalk salted or try to clear ice or snow so that people can get into your venue safely. These are all decisions you have to weigh that often aren't weighed.
Well, somebody needs to weigh them because it's not going to break freezing until, the way it looks, at the earliest next Friday, which means the sun's going to have to be out, which tomorrow's supposed to be cloudy, so that's not going to give you any help. Monday is partly cloudy. That's not going to give you any help. The first time, according to the Weather Channel, is like Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend, in the 40s, you'll get some melt there, but you're going to have some car traffic. You're going to have stuff going on, and we could go on for hours on this topic. But, again, I just think there's going to be a lot of, kind of like schools do with snow days. Monkey see, monkey do. What are you doing? We will too. So that's kind of what it always takes, that first one to say, nah, it's not good enough. Let's not do this. So I just think it's better to err on the side of caution rather than try to force people into ball games.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And while we're at it, a cancellation, I have had a couple of people ask on the actual station Facebook page, not the WMIX Sports Facebook,
right,
but the station, about the craft fair going on today at City Park. Of course, that is canceled, so that is not going on today at Parks and Recreation District. Yeah. So, there are going to be quite a few cancellations today, but when you look at sports, you have to weigh the relative scheme of things, and sometimes it's just not worth it to have a game. And I think we're going to find, whether we like it or not, that cancellations for sports may even go into Monday.
Well, one game that wasn't canceled was last night, the women's side of the game. The Kentucky Baylor game was 4 overtimes, 133 to 130. As Benton head coach Ron Weinmiller texts me and tells me the Goreville games are canceled today. 133 to 130 in 4 overtimes. Baylor had 7 players foul out. Kentucky had 3 foul out. Baylor was down to 5 players all on the floor. 1 player who hadn't played all year because she was kind of hurt. They left one at home for another reason, so they were down to 5. They had 2 people with 4 fouls on the floor and had to make sure the one that just came in for the first time all year was able to foul, because that wasted time. And Kentucky had a player come off the bench and score 47 points. 42 points. Baylor had one with Baylor's best player. What's her name?
I know it's not, because she's gone.
No, they got another one.
Yeah.
I can't remember. She had 47 for fouling out. She's
You
the best player
told me
in the
about
country.
it, but I didn't get. I tuned in too late and missed it.
That was the more entertaining game down there.
So what they do, kind of like a mega night?
They had a mega night, Kentucky Baylor at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, and did it where, of course, it iced and snowed, so it looked like they were playing in front of 2,000 people in an 80,000-seat stadium because nobody could get out and go. It was like they were playing and screaming and hollering, and nobody was there to get the sound. It was just going off in oblivion. But mega night, it was part of SEC Big 12, matchup week or whatever they do, conference versus conference. So it was an amazing game. We got to see most of the 4 overtimes because ESPN was waiting on the Kentucky men's game to start. And it was amazing to watch. This Kentucky, the way they play, that was an extra half of basketball they played right there.
Well, and I know that sometimes major college basketball, not necessarily my thing, just don't always have time to watch. But did every SEC Big 12 game feature a women's game preceding? Or
I'm not sure. I know because Kansas,
I like that.
Kansas at Florida next Tuesday night. There's none there. It's just that was wanting a mega thing as far as getting out and promoting the women's game and having 2 schools play and out in the big dome and getting the men's people to, men's teams to play in a place where the Final Four will be in April, and then it gets the women's into a situation where, they have the opportunity to do that as well. It was a very cool concept. Coach Calipari came up with that to have that big mega night, so it's kind of neat. But boy, when you turn out to a 133-130 quadruple overtime game, I don't care what it is, that's nice to see.
Well, it is nice to see, and of course, that's not the only going on in the world right now. Hot stove heating up, of course, in Major
Holy
League Baseball. 10 years, $240 for Robbie Cano. Thank you, Pacific Northwest, for participating in money spending.
No. TV deal.
I didn't see that one.
Seattle has a TV deal coming. That's what they're doing. You will see over the next 3 to 5
Sports?
years. No, just I don't know what deal it is. They have a TV deal coming, and you will see over the next 2 or 3 years teams with the TV deals spending. The Cubs are next. They're getting another TV deal.
TV and radio.
Right. So they're getting a big deal there. So the Mariners, now think of the Yankees. They spent a wad on Brian McCann. Okay, you kind of have to. That's a catcher. You give way too much to Kobe Ellsbury, who plays every other year. So if you're Robinson Cano, you're sitting there going, you gave that much to Jacoby Ellsbury? He had one good playoff? Okay. Then he turns around, and the Yankees go, Rivera retires, Pettit retires, Jeter, you don't know what you're going to get. A-Rod's battling Major League Baseball. You don't know if or when he's going to play. So they go sign, or Cano goes to Seattle. The Yankees signed Carlos Beltran last night, does not go to Kansas City, which I knew he would never go there. But Beltran goes there now, so if you're Ichiro, you're trade bait now because you got Ellsbury and Beltran and Vernon Wells, or do you trade Gardner to get pitch? I mean, the Yankees aren't the Yankees anymore, what we're used to. So they start spending because they didn't have to spend $240 on Cano. The Yankees had extra money. Think of that. And they go sign these players. Now, Seattle is sitting there counting on their money that's coming, kind of like on credit. So Cano won't be the only guy. They're going to go get more, but I hope Cano doesn't go in there and say, well, I'm here, I want to win, I want to help them win. He needs to come in and say something to the effect of, I'm getting my payday, but I'm the guy, I want other people to come play with me to turn this around. That's what he should say.
Right. Exactly, because, I mean, obviously it was about money. Jay-Z made that very clear.
Well, it's tough to sing Hard Knock Life right now if you're Jay-Z.
Well, 99 problems and cash ain't one for Robinson Cano.
Beyonce's going, what about me? But, I mean, yesterday was a great day to be off from school because all I did was turn on the MLB Network, and here we go, bang, Robbie Cano, bang, Napoli, bang, Ellsbury, here, he goes, and then you get, Carlos Beltran. Curtis Granderson goes to the Mets. Where were the Cubs and White Sox on him? Do they know something that the Mets don't? But he got 4 years, $60 million. I mean,
if it's Omar Minaya, you think that they do know something that the Mets don't, but it's Sandy Alderson, you assume that. But then again, he's not proven to be the whole Alderson jackety type mindset is proven not to be as valuable as it once was.
Skip Schumacher goes to the Reds. Dan Herron goes to the Dodgers. I mean, this stuff, it was crazy yesterday morning. It was great to have MLB Network just turn on and listen yesterday.
I flipped back and forth between NFL. Oh, I guess I did do that yesterday. I flipped back and forth between NFL Network and MLB. But Gary Kubiak, obviously, we can touch on that later, still in baseball mode right now. Hot Stove League is definitely, Hot Stove is heating up, I should say.
Yeah, next week's a winter meeting.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to the winter meeting.
No, they thought all this was going to happen at
Kevin
the winter
Millar
meetings.
hasn't gotten to a hotel to tear something up, and they're still getting ready to go.
We got to a point where 5 minutes, this is a 5-minute span, I kid you not, as the news is starting to break that Seattle is so upset with Jay-Z for demanding the 10th year when they thought they were settled on 9. It wasn't 5 minutes later. Who was it? I think it was Kenny Rosenthal.
Yes.
Retweeted that they've come to an agreement, 10 years, $240.
Yeah.
And, of course, now you have the so-called best fans in baseball upset about something about Beltran. I don't know. I quit
you can't be
Twitter.
upset. He was a 2-year rental. Settle down. You got young players.
Why would you? It makes sense for both teams in that side of it. The Cardinals letting him walk
you got
because you got Tavares.
You got a guy who can't spell his name right short now.
Yeah.
And don't boo him. You cannot boo. I'm giving this to all Cardinal fans. You cannot boo Ryan Braun when he comes in next year.
Can't boo anybody for anything.
Can't boo anybody. Mark McGuire, Johnny Peralta with an HAH to start with. Johnny. You can't boo Ryan Braun or Barry Bonds or anybody else ever anymore that steps foot in that stadium and spin around steroids. Cannot do it.
Well, and the other thing with that is it makes sense for Beltran to be in the American League, obviously.
Yes, he can DH.
And when he's batting lefty, has a short porch.
Well, that's what I said. Look at the guys that went to the Yankees. I mean, this is great. McCann's catcher, so lefty. He can DH on days off. Soriano's still there. Can you believe this is the 8th year of that contract? That fool Jim Henry signed of him. Then you got Beltran
never
out there
left
who can DH.
Yankees in the
Vernon
first
Wells
place.
can DH.
Never been traded.
So, Ichiro, you can trade him. If
Has
I'm Ichiro,
Has
I'd
anybody
figure out
seen or heard from A-Rod?
Yeah, he's still mad at MLB for thinking he did something. I'm looking at Ichiro. Wouldn't it be nice if Ichiro could go back to Seattle? One
Yes.
last fling, be their DH.
Exactly.
Seattle's going to be good. Seattle won't be. Robbie Cano can't take Seattle on his shoulders. They need another bat or two in the lineup, but their pitching is good enough. That's the difference in this deal with Cano and Pujols is Seattle's pitching is better than the Angels when
Right.
Pujols got there.
I'm hoping for 95, 96 like Seattle excitement, like late 90s before they blew it up into the offseason
Okay.
before 2000.
West Frankfurt at Pinckneyville canceled, rescheduled for December 14th.
Oh, so West Frankfurt decided they would rather not make
I
the
think
trip.
you're going to see a whole lot more get canned.
As they should. I
Right.
mean,
Yep. Yeah. Johnny Peralta, 4 years. Is he really worth 4 years? Once he's off the
No.
juice?
I didn't think he was worth 2. But you never know.
Yeah, I know. Keep Pete Cosmet a bad day. Who cares?
You know what it is, what it is.
Trade one of them pitchers
I know
and
I
go get
sound like
somebody.
I'm the anti-Cardinal fan as a Cardinal
are.
fan, but I am not. Just got really not a fan of the color red. I mean, other than that, it just has nothing to do with team camaraderie or team rooting interest. I just don't like red. It is a power color, though. So if you can pull it off, you should wear it, especially in a business meeting. But if you can't pull it off, don't wear it. Bad fashion faux pas.
So college football today, that's the main thing to watch today.
That's
I'm going to
exciting.
take a lot in. All kinds of conference games. Big 12's doing whatever they do. No conference game there, whatever they want. Michigan State, Ohio State, I can't root for anybody. I hope there's a tie. Or they both get beat. I know that's not possible.
No contest?
I
Earl
don't
Hebner?
like any of them. I don't know. Somebody's texting me about school Monday. If I knew that, I knew lottery numbers. My chances, I'm thinking nobody's going to have school. A lot of the schools won't be in session most of the week next week.
After all
Auburn,
the calls,
Missouri's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've got Duke and Florida State, who thought Duke would be playing for something football-like. That's an interesting game. Jameis Winston's now no issues for him. So many great college football games on today. Then tomorrow, this snow that went through here is going east tomorrow. So can't wait for that to see what happens snow-wise tomorrow with the football games. So it's a big weekend. It is a big sports weekend. It's a
huge
good weekend to stay off the roads and
your boy
do it.
Wade Phillips, the interim head coach again. In
good
Houston.
luck, Houston. That'll be interim. I've had a lot of your boys. One of them right now is Jason Garrett. Yeah,
he's good on a football life.
He's
though.
done well.
He should
Thank
stick
goodness.
to doing the interviews for a football life.
Thank goodness Tony Romo is playing out of his mind.
You
That's the
know,
only reason we're winning.
I like to bash on the Cowboys just to upset you and our good
Doesn't
friend.
bother me. We're all just 2 games over 500 since '97. Doesn't bother me.
You and our good friend Jason White, of course, just to kind of mess with you guys. But Tony Romo, fantasy wise, is a brilliant quarterback to have.
Yeah.
He tops my Eli Manning and Alex Smith. Which had I started Alex Smith, I would have missed the playoffs
San
by half a
Francisco,
point. Thanks, Mike.
Seattle. That's a good one tomorrow. Miami at Pittsburgh. That's interesting. Snow. Carolina is somewhere this weekend. That's another good game. Rams are in Arizona on AM 940 tomorrow at 3:25.
Thank you.
There you go.
2 o'clock pregame. Saves me from looking.
Cowboys are at the Bears Monday night. That'll be warm.
Yeah.
So
there's that. And there's this. This is the finale, of course, today. Glad to have had you for almost 2 hours of sports talk and conjecture. Of course, you can find the archive later on at WMIXsports.com. This is WMIX Mount Vernon. Tune in next week. Of course, stay tuned to Twitter at WMIX Sports to find out any cancellations as we tweet and retweet everything from around the area. Thanks for listening. NBC News now.